This video is going to go over the various ways to find the equation of the line given various amounts of information. The examples that we're going to go over are finding the equation of the line given the graph of the line, the slope and the y-intercept, the slope and another point on the line, 2 points on the line, a point and a parallel line, and a point and a perpendicular line. So let's start with the first one. Okay, let's find the equation of the line given this graph. The first thing we want to do, if possible, if we have the y-intercept, okay, that's where it crosses the y-axis, that's great. This one actually we can tell very clearly that it goes through the point 0, -1. So the y-intercept is -1. Now to find the slope, pick any other point on your graph. I'll pick this one. And then you need to see, how do you get from one point to the other one? On this one, it looks like I rise 2 and I run 1 unit, but my run is towards the negatives, so it's considered a negative run. So my slope is I rise 2 and I run a -1. Now let's say I picked a different point. Let's say I picked this point right here. Then if I'm looking at my y-intercept and say, how do I get to that point? It looks like for that point I have to fall 4 units and run 2 units. If I fall 4 and then run 2, my slope turns out to be -2, which is the same thing I got here in my first problem. So it doesn't matter which 2 points you pick, just take a look at your rise and your run that gets you from one point to the next. Then you're ready to write your equation. My standard form is y equals mx plus b, so if I fill in my information, I get y equals -2x minus 1. There's the equation of the line given that graph. Okay, this next problem, we are given that the slope of the line is 3 and the y-intercept is 0, 7. Remember that we are looking for an equation of the form y equals mx plus b. Now you are given b because that's the y-intercept, and you're given m because that's the slope. These are the easiest ones to do. My answer is y equals 3x plus 7, and that's it. Okay, here's our next problem. Find the equation of the line with the slope 4, and it contains the point -6, 2. Well, remember that we're looking for y equals mx plus b. I don't have b, but I do have the slope. So I know so far that I've got y equals 4x plus b. At this point, I need to find b. And the way that I do that is to take this point, which I'm told it has to be on that line, and if it's on the line, the point needs to work in the equation. So I'm going to put 2 in for y, and -6 in for x, and solve it. I get 2 equals -24 plus b, and so to solve that, I'm simply going to add 24 to both sides, and I get 26 equals b. Alright, if b is 26, I just need to put that back up here, and I'll be done. The answer to my equation is y equals 4x plus 26. Alright, here's my next problem. Find the equation of the line that passes through the points -2, 2 and 4, 5. I'm looking for y equals mx plus b. I don't know m and I don't know b. Well, the first thing you must always have is the slope. So let's figure that out. I change in y over change in x is 2 minus 5 over Negative 2 minus 4. Let's see what we get for that. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. So it looks like I get a positive 1/2 as my slope. That means I'm looking at y equals 1/2 x plus b. Alright, I need to find b. As in the last example, in order to find b, I need to put a point in there so I have values for x and y. Now here's the nice thing about this is it doesn't matter which point you put in. I think I will just put this point in, which means 5 goes in for y. I have 1/2 times my x, which is 4, and I'm going to solve that. So 5 equals 1/2 times 4, which is 2, plus b. Alright, to solve this, I subtract 2 on both sides, and I end up with b equals 3. Alright, if I put that back up in here, I get my final equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. And as I said, it does not matter which point you use. You will get the same answer for both of them. Next example, find the equation of the line that passes through the point 2, 1 and is parallel to the line 2x plus 3y equals 6. We need to find the slope. We know that we're looking for y equals mx plus b. The first thing we always look for is the slope. I don't know what the slope is, but if it's parallel to this line, let's see what the slope of this line is. If I solve this for y by subtracting 2x on both sides, and then I divide all the way through by 3, it looks like this is the equation y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. Okay, so here's my slope. That's what's going to go in over here because they're parallel, and if two lines have parallel slopes, that means their slopes are the same. So now I've got negative 2/3 x plus b. Now, this is where we take this point and put it in for x and y. So I've got 1 equals negative 2/3 times 2 plus b. 1 equals negative 4/3 plus b. At this point, I usually will clear the fractions by multiplying all the way through by 3. If I do that, the 3's will cancel here, and I just end up with 3 equals negative 4 plus 3b. Alright, if I add 4 to both sides, I get 7 equals 3b. Dividing by 3 gives me b equals 7/3. That means, if I put this back up in my equation for b, my final answer is y equals negative 2/3 x plus b. So I can either write plus 7/3 or I can write 2 1/3. Now if I'm going to graph it, I'd probably rather have it as 2 1/3 because I'm going to have to estimate where that is. Okay, here's our last problem. Find the equation of the line that passes through the point negative 2, 4 and is perpendicular to the line y equals negative 1/3. We need our equation y equals mx plus b, so I need to find the slope first, and my slope has got to come from this line. Now, the slope of this line is negative 1/3. That means my slope must equal the negative reciprocal. So it's got to have the opposite sign, and it's got to be the reciprocal. Well, the reciprocal is 3/1, and since this one is negative, I want mine to be positive. So my slope is 3. So I come back over here, and I have y equals 3x plus b. I can now take my point and put it in. 4 equals 3 times negative 2 plus b. 4 equals negative 6 plus b. I'm going to add 6 to both sides, and I get b equals 10. If b equals 10, I can put that back up here, and my final equation is y equals 3x plus 10. I guess my comment for all of these problems is please make sure that when you're putting in your point, you get the x in place for the x and the y in for the y. Oftentimes I see students reverse those. Okay, that goes through an example of all those different types. Good luck.